Assalamualaikum beta, I'm Dr. Sadia. So this is the remaining part of the middle ear cavity. This is the tympanic membrane. This is a handle of the malleus. This is the inner side of the tympanic membrane, and this is the handle of the incus. Okay, they are parallel to each other. This is a cartilaginous ring, and this is the pars tensa. This is the pars flaccida, and the thickening of the pars tensa is called fibrocartilaginous ring, and this is the cone of light. When you put a light over the ombo, and it forms the light waves comes downward inferiorly and forms a cone of light. So this is a tympanic membrane, pearly gray in color, and separating the external membrane from the external ear from the middle ear. This is again the tympanic membrane. This is the incus, body of the incus, and this is the handle of the, this is the long process of the incus. This is the handle of the malleus. This is the pars tensa of the tympanic membrane, and this is a tympanic membrane. This is the tympanic membrane. This is the handle of the malleus. This is the long process of the incus. This is forming a lateral wall of the tympanic cavity, and up to where the tympanic membrane is present, this is called tympanic cavity, and over which we have a epitympanic recess, and this is the body of the incus and the body of the malleus is forming a joint with each other, and this is the tensor tympani muscle, which is inserting over the handle of the malleus, and this is the cauda tympani nerve, which is actually moving from the posterior side. It passes over the handle of the malleus, and it contains the taste fibers and the preganglionic sympathetic fibers, and it relays over the submandibular ganglion, and then by relaying into the submandibular ganglion, the postganglionic fibers which go towards the submandibular gland and the sublingual gland. So this is cauda tympani nerve, which is given by the facial nerve on the posterior wall of the tympanic cavity. So this is the mastoid antrum, and this is the epitympanic recess. This is the lateral wall is forming by the tympanic membrane, and this is the anterior wall. Anterior wall is formed by the having two canals like tensor tympani and the canal of the pharyngotympanic tube. So this is anterior wall, this is posterior wall, this is the lateral wall, and these are the ossicles like incus and the malleus. Okay. The short process of incus is attached with the anterior wall, and the short process of incus attached with the posterior wall, and the anterior process of the malleus attached with the anterior wall. So this is all about. So the tympanic cavity, it is a petrous part. It is present in the petrous part of the temporal bone. It is a biconvex like RBC, and the vertical axis is actually parallel to the eardrum, and it is air-filled cavity. It is lined by the mucous membrane. It is connected in front by the nasopharynx. The anterior wall, through the anterior wall, it is connected via the pharyngotympanic tube to the nasopharynx, and behind via the adductus irregular opening, it is connected with the mastoid antrum. We'll discuss in each and everything in detail. So these are the ossicles. Ossicles like the malleus. It contains the head of the malleus, the neck of the malleus, the lateral process over which the anterior and the posterior malleolar folds are attached. This is the long process of the malleus, which is attached over the convex portion of the tympanic membrane, and this is the anterior process which is attached with the anterior wall by a ligament. This is the head again. This is the articulating area through which it articulates with the incus, the body of the incus, and this is the long process of the malleus. This is the handle of the malleus. This is the long process of the incus, and this is the body which articulates with the head of the malleus. This is the short process which is attached with the posterior wall of the tympanic cavity. This is the stapes. This is attached, head of the stapes attached with the tip of the long process of the incus, and this is the neck of the stapes. This is the anterior crust. This is the posterior crust. This is the base of the stapes, which is attached with the fenestra vestibuli or the round window. Through the stapes, the vibrations from the incus or malleus or the tympanic membrane transmits to the perilymph of the inner ear. So this is the base which is attached with the oval window through the annular ligament. Word malleus is a Latin for hammer. So it is a hammer-like. It is the first bone of the middle ear. The handle of the malleus is attached to the internal or inner surface of the eardrum. Head of the malleus is attached with the body of the incus. It forms a joint. The primary function of the malleus is to transmit the sound waves or vibrations from the eardrum to the incus. So this is the function. It transmits the vibration from the eardrum because it's attached toward the eardrum. It gets the vibration from the eardrum and transmits it to the incus. So this is an incus, another bone. This is a second bone located between the malleus and stapes. The incus transmits the vibration from the malleus to the stapes. So over the tip of the long process of the incus, the stapes is attached, and here is the articulating surface for the head of the malleus, and this is the short process which is attached by a ligament to the posterior wall of the tympanic cavity. So this is the stapes. Another important ossicle. Stapes is the third final bone of the middle ear. It is the smallest and the largest bone of the human body. The stapes connects to the incus on the outward side to the oval window. This is the base of the stapes which is connected with the oval window or scala vestibuli. And the primary function of the stapes is transmitting the sound wave from the incus to the membrane of the inner ear. That is the membrane of the inner ear. That is the जो है scala vestibuli, perilymph of the inner ear. The base of the footplate of the stapes is fits into an oval window or the fenestra vestibuli. Oval window, another name is fenestra vestibuli. So this is the malleus, head of the malleus, and this is the anterior process. This is a lateral process which attached with the anterior and posterior malleolar fold, and this is attached with the posterior wall via ligament anterior process, and this is the long handle of the malleus which is attached over the convex surface of the जो है आपका tympanic membrane or eardrum. This is the body of the incus. This is the long process attached with the head of the stapes. This is the anterior and posterior crest of the stapes. This is the neck of the stapes, and this is the base of the stapes which is attached with the oval window by an annular ligament. And oval window is also called fenestra vestibuli. So what is the oval window? It is a membrane covered, is a membrane. Oval window is present in the vestibule of the inner ear. ठीक है, तो oval window is present in the vestibule, and this is the base of the stapes. So membrane is a membrane covered opening that leads from the middle ear to the vestibule of the inner ear. So this oval window is present in the vestibule of the inner ear and transmits the sound waves from the middle ear to the inner ear. Oval window is the intersection of the middle ear with the inner ear and is directly contacted by the stapes. So this is the base of the stapes which transmits the sound waves from the tympanic membrane to the inner ear through the oval window. By the time the vibrations reach the oval window, they have amplified. मतलब the ossicles amplified the sound waves that received by the tympanic membrane 10 times more, and then they were जो है contact, and then they were when they contacted to the tympanic membrane. The sound waves which are received by the tympanic membrane, they are amplified 10 times, and then it transmits to the perilymph of the inner ear by the stapes through the oval window. So what is this eustachian tube? The middle ear is an air-filled space. It consists of both bone and hyaline cartilage. The eustachian tube, the posterior one-third is formed by the bone, and the latter two-third is formed by the anterior two-third is formed by the hyaline cartilage, and posterior one-third is formed by the bone. And eustachian tube or pharyngotympanic tube connects the nasopharynx to the middle ear cavity, and actually it balances the amount of air between on the each side of the tympanic membrane. It runs from the middle ear to the nasopharynx behind the nose. It is normally closed at the pharyngeal end. It normally closes at the pharyngeal end, and when it opens during swallowing, chewing, and yawning. It helps in maintaining and equalizing the pressure on the two sides of the eardrum. ठीक है, if pressure disturbs due to any cause or hinders, so it actually hinders the whenever the pressure disturbs, it hinders the clear and normal hearing. So this is an eardrum. This is the head of the malleus. This is the neck of the malleus. This is the handle of the malleus, which is attached over the convex side of the or inner side of the tympanic membrane. And this is the lateral process over which the जो है anterior and posterior malleolar folds are attached, and this is the anterior process which is attached with the anterior wall of the tympanic cavity. So this is the lateral wall over the anterior and posterior malleolar folds are attached. ठीक है, so it contains the pars tensa, pars flaccida, and these are the incus, the body of the incus, which is forming a joint with the head of the malleus. This is the long process of the incus is attached with the head of the incus. This is the neck of the stapes, and this is the anterior and posterior processes of the or processes of the stapes. This is the base of the stapes, which is attached with the oval window, and oval window is present in the region of vestibule of the inner ear. Okay, then the sound waves transmits to the perilymph, that is scala vestibuli, and after that scala vestibuli transmits the sound waves to the scala tympani, and scala tympani, which contains the perilymph, is connected with the round window, that is the fenestra cochlea. And so the fenestra cochlea or the round window is covered by a secondary tympanic membrane, and whenever the sound waves transmits to the scala vestibuli to the scala tympani, and the secondary tympanic membrane will bulge out due to the vibrations of the sound vibrations of the perilymph, which causes the bulging of the secondary tympanic membrane. So sound waves transmits to the oval window, transmits to the scala vestibuli, scala tympani, and it causes the bulging of the secondary tympanic membrane, which covers the round window or fenestra cochlea. So this is the tympanic cavity is a box like. It contains the roof, the floor, the anterior wall, the posterior wall, and the medial wall, and the lateral wall is formed by the tympanic membrane, and it is a biconcave in nature, narrow in the center, and the increase size in the periphery on the both sides. So it is biconcave in nature, middle ear cavity, and it is contains the roof, the floor, the anterior wall, the posterior wall, and the medial wall, and the lateral wall. So it is a box-like structure. So the anterior wall contains the two canal, that is the tensor tympani canal. One is for the tensor tympani muscle, smaller canal is for the tensor tympani muscle, and the larger canal is for the pharyngotympanic tube, which opens into the middle ear cavity, and it disconnects the nasopharynx to the middle ear cavity. This tensor tympani muscle inserted over the malleus, and its function is to dampen the sound waves. Suppose somewhere the bomb blast will occur, the increase amount of sound energy can rupture the tympanic membrane. So actually, what is the function of this? It's actually inserted over the malleus, and it actually dampens the sound wave. This is another muscle. This is called stapedius, and this is the posterior wall. This is the anterior wall, which contains the two canals. One is for the tensor tympani, and another is for the pharyngotympanic tube. And this is the posterior wall, which contains the mastoid antrum, and the mastoid antrum, this is the bony projection. This is the pyramid, which gives the origin to the stapedius muscle. This stapedius muscle in the posterior wall is supplied by the facial nerve, and this attaches over the or inserts over the neck of the stapes, and this also causes the dampening of the sound. This also decreases the sound intensity, and and these both actually work and dampens the sounds of waves of the and decreases the intensity of the sound in the middle ear cavity. And so this the short process, which is attached with the ligament attached with the posterior wall, and this is the anterior process, which with the ligament attached to the anterior wall of the tympanic cavity. So this is the anterior wall, this is the posterior wall, this is the roof, and this is the floor of the tympanic cavity, and this is the tympanic membrane, which is forming the lateral wall of the tympanic cavity. So this is an ear-filled cavity, oblique, narrow, slit-like, present in the long axis of the tympanic membrane, and it is air-filled cavity and lined by the mucous membrane. So this is an posterior wall, roof, floor, and this is an anterior wall, which contains the two canals. Okay. The tensor tympani muscle starts from the anterior wall, and it comes over the medial wall, and through the medial wall it forms a pulley that is processes coccolliformes, and then that actually helps the tensor tympani muscle to attach over the handle of the malleus and over the lateral wall. So this is all about the muscles, discussion of muscles and the walls of the tympanic cavity. So the lateral wall of the tympanic cavity is membranous wall. It is forming by the tympanic membrane, which is present in the squamous portion of the temporal bone, the medial wall, and the medial wall is formed by the lateral wall of the inner ear and the promontory. The promontory is a first turn of the cochlea. Okay, outer wall of the inner ear. It contains the oval window. It contains the round window. Okay, and it contains the prominence of the facial nerve. So medial nerve from the vestibule of the inner ear coming towards the medial wall, and from the medial wall it transmits to the posterior wall. This we'll discuss in a while. Anterior wall or the carotid wall, actually anterior wall separates the interior wall of the tympanic cavity uh, from the carotid canal, or carotid canal contains the internal carotid artery. How, I will show you in a while. And anterior wall contains the two openings of the Streichon tube or pharyngotympanic tube or tendon of the tensor tympani muscle, which I already showed you. Posterior wall or mastoid wall contains the tympanic adductors or mastoid cells, and contains the pyramid bony projection over which the stapedius muscle is attached, and the facial nerve and through the tympanic sulcus. The inferior wall or the jugular wall is actually separates the tympanic cavity from the superior bulb of the internal jugular vein. Separating it from the internal jugular vein, it is also in the pitous part of the temporal bone. And superior wall जो है आपको, this is called tegmental wall. It separates the tympanic cavity from the middle cranial fossa, like meninges of the middle cranial fossa and the temporal lobe of the middle cranial fossa. So we will, all the things we'll discuss in a while. So this is a box-like structure. This is the superior wall. This is called a tegmental wall, which separates the middle ear cavity from the meninges and the temporal lobes of the brain. And this is inferior wall, which thin wall, which separates the middle ear cavity from the superior bulb of the internal jugular vein. So this is an anterior wall which contains the two canals for the tensor tympani muscle and Streichon tube, and this anterior wall separates the tympanic cavity from the carotid canal, which contain the internal carotid artery and the carotid plexus. Okay? And this is the posterior wall. This is an irregular opening called adductus, which connects the posterior wall of the tympanic cavity with the mastoid antrum. So this is adductus to the mastoid. ठीक है बेटा. This is anterior wall, posterior wall, superior wall, inferior wall. This is lateral wall. Through the axillary auditory meatus, the lateral wall is formed by the tympanic membrane, and the medial wall is formed by the lateral wall of the inner ear. So the promontory, the oval window, the round window, the facial canal. So and so this is all about. This is the anterior wall. Anterior wall has two canals. This is for the canal, smaller canal for the tensor tympani muscle, and this canal जो है moves with on the medial wall and form the processes cochleaformis, and जो आपकी pulley है, then it through the medial wall it attaches, inserts this muscle over the handle of the malleus, and it actually functions to dampen the sound waves. ठीक है? And this muscle is supplied by the mandibular branch of the mandibular division of the trigeminal nerve. So this muscle is supplied by the mandibular division of the trigeminal nerve. This is tensor tympani muscle. The another canal, big canal, is for the pharyngotympanic tube, which connects the middle ear cavity to the nasopharynx. And posterior one third is bony, and the remaining two third is cartilaginous. So anterior wall separates the tympanic cavity from the carotid canal, which contains the internal carotid artery and some carotid plexus over that, sympathetic plexus. I already told you the superior cervical ganglion will give an internal carotid nerve, which contains the postganglionic sympathetic fibers, which form a plexus around the internal carotid artery, and this plexus will give a nerve which contributes in the tympanic plexus. So this we will discuss right now. So this is a chordate tympani, which actually arises here on the posterior wall and passes through the anterior wall, and जो है it relays on the जो है आपका, it gets contains the preganglionic parasympathetic fibers, and that relays over the superior submandibular ganglion, and through the submandibular ganglion, sublingual ganglion. It supplies the submandibular and sublingual gland. It passes through the anterior wall. So this is all about the caudate tympani. It passes emerges over the posterior wall and passes through the anterior wall and relays over the submandibular ganglion. It also contains the taste fibers from the anterior two-third of the tongue, and also contains the preganglionic parasympathetic fibers. So this is all about the anterior wall. The roof separates the tympanic cavity from the middle cranial fossa, from the meninges and the temporal lobe of the brain. So whenever the infection enters through from the nasopharynx through the pharyngotympanic tube into the middle ear cavity, it passes through the middle cranial fossa and causes the meningitis and encephalitis. ठीक है. And this is the inferior wall, separates the separates the tympanic cavity from the superior bulb of the internal jugular vein, and the inferior wall of the tympanic cavity pierced by a nerve that is called the tympanic branch of the glossopharyngeal. This gives the branches over the promontory and forms the tympanic plexus, and some branches from the sympathetic plexus uh, enter into this plexus and contributes in this tympanic plexus also. These are the sympathetic branches from the which is around the internal carotid artery. So this sympathetic branch of the internal carotid plexus enters into the tympanic plexus, which is tympanic plexus is actually formed by the tympanic branch of the glossopharyngeal nerve. This tympanic branch of the glossopharyngeal nerve will give a preganglionic parasympathetic fibers. These preganglionic parasympathetic fibers release over the otic ganglion and become the postganglionic, and then it after relaying into the otic ganglion, it contains the secretomotor fibers, and it goes over the towards the parotid gland and supplies the parotid gland. So the lesser petrosal nerve is a branch of the tympanic branch of the glossopharyngeal, and this relays over the otic ganglion in the infratemporal fossa, and after that the postganglionic fibers relays over the parotid gland, and it contains the secretomotor fibers. So the anterior wall, we have discussed the superior wall, the inferior wall, and this is the medial wall. This medial wall contains the canal of the tensor tympani, uh, and this switch forward and forms a pulley and processes ocelliformes. Then it inserts over the lateral wall over the handle of the malleus, and its function is to deaden the sound, and it is supplied by the mandibular branch of the trigeminal nerve, and it contains a promontory, first turn of the cochlea, over which the tympanic branch of the glossopharyngeal forms the tympanic plexus, and sympathetic branch from this internal carotid plexus also contributes in this plexus, and this tympanic branch will give a lesser petrosal nerve. So this is a medial branch, and this is an oval window over the promontory. This is called fenestra vestibuli, over which the base of the stapes is attached and by the annular ligament, and it gets the sound waves from the incus and transmits it to the parallel. So this is oval. This is a round window. This is called fenestra cochlea, and this is as it attached inside the inner ear with the scala tympani. So whatever the sound waves transmits to the oval window, it passes to the scala vestibula, then scala tympani, and this causes the bulging of the round window. And this round window is also called the fenestra cochlea, and is in inner side, in the inner ear it is attached with the scala tympani. So this is a facial nerve, is actually first running over the vestibule of the inner ear, then it passes over the medial wall, and then it swells to form the geniculate ganglion. At the site of the geniculate ganglion, it gives the greater petrosal nerve. This greater petrosal nerve contains the preganglionic parasympathetic fibers. Here it gives the greater petrosal nerve. It contains the preganglionic parasympathetic fibers, which actually joins with the deep petrosal nerve, which contains the postganglionic parasympathetic fibers and forms the nerve of the pterygoid canal, and it relays over the pterygopalatine ganglion. Then the postganglionic fibers runs in the nasopalatine nerve to the mucus, to the glands of the nose and palate, and towards the lacrimal gland through the lacrimal nerve. So it gives the greater petrosal nerve, and what you have discussed, and it also gives the stapedius nerve. So this is a pyramid which is present on the posterior wall, so bony projection. So this pyramid gives the origin to the stapedius muscle. So this facial nerve also gives branch to the stapedius muscle, and it also gives another branch to the chorda tympani, which contains the preganglionic parasympathetic fibers, and also contains the taste fibers from the anterior two-thirds of the tongue. And these preganglionic parasympathetic fibers relays over the submandibular ganglion, and then postganglionic fibers will distribute it toward the submandibular and sublingual ganglion. So this is about the facial nerve, which starts journey from the vestibule of the inner ear, then over the medial wall of the जो है आपका tympanic cavity, then over the then anterior to the adductus, this is the opening which connects the posterior wall to the mastoid antrum. Then anterior to the adductus, then it comes downward, and before passing from the stylomastoid foramen, it gives the chorda tympani and also gives branch to the stapedius muscle. And this stapedius muscle also dampens the sound waves. Okay, this is an irregular opening which connects us to the mastoid antrum. Whatever the infection into the middle ear cavity enters into the via the adductus into the mastoid antrum and causes the acute mastoiditis. And via the superior wall or the roof, it enters into the middle cranial fossa and causes the meningitis and encephalitis. And whatever it also involves the facial nerve and called the facial nerve palsy, and it causes the it infects the जो है आपकी medial wall and which is the lateral wall of the inner ear and causes the labyrinthitis and causes the vertigo and nausea and vomiting. So it causes the labyrinthitis. It's called the facial palsy. It causes the acute mastitis. It infects the nasopharynx. It infects the middle cranial fossa यानी temporal lobe और जो है आपका meninges of the temporal lobe. Middle cranial fossa. So this is how the infection can transmit, and this is the posterior semicircular canal. So we'll move forward. So this is an anterior canal. This is internal carotid artery. This is pharyngotympanic tube. This is tensor tympani muscle. This is the roof of the middle ear cavity, which separates us from the middle cranial fossa, any meninges and temporal lobe. This is the floor, which separates us from the superior bulb of the inferior jugular vein. This is the medial wall, which contains the promontory, first turn of the cochlea, round window, oval window, and this is the tympanic plexus, which is formed by the tympanic branch of the glossopharyngeal. This is the lesser petrosal nerve, which is given by which is the branch of the tympanic branch of the glossopharyngeal. It contains the secretomotor fibers for the parotid gland and relays on the otic ganglion in the infratemporal fossa and passes through the petrotympanic fissure. This is these are the fibers of the sympathetic fibers from the internal carotid plexus, and this is the facial nerve which starts its journey from the over the vestibule, then medial wall of the inner ear, then the posterior wall in front of the adductus, then the posterior wall. In the posterior wall, when it goes downward behind the pyramid, it gives the branch to the stapedius muscle, and before passing through the stylomastoid foramen, it gives the branch that is the chorda tympani nerve. ठीक है बेटा? So this is the mastoid antrum. The mastoid antrum anterior wall is connected with the middle ear cavity through the adductus. The mastoid antrum posterior wall is connected with the sigmoid sinus. Is through a small partition. It is separated by the sigmoid sinus. So whenever the infection enters into the through the anterior wall of the mastoid antrum into the mastoid antrum, it also invades through the posterior wall into the sigmoid sinus and causes the sigmoid sinus thrombosis. The inferior wall contains the mastoid ear cavities, mastoid ear cells cavities, air-filled cavities. The infection enters into the inferior wall and the mastoid air-filled cavities and causes the acute mastoiditis. ठीक है, so anterior wall with the middle ear cavity, posterior wall is connected with the sigmoid sinus, and inferior wall contains the mastoid air-filled cavities, and the lateral wall जो है that is actually forms the floor of the suprameatal triangle, and the जो medial wall है it is separated from the posterior semicircular canal. So this is all about the when the infection through the middle ear cavity enters into the mastoid antrum, forms the acute mastoiditis. Infection transmits to the sigmoid sinus, and the जो आपकी superior wall of the mastoid antrum है, that forms the tegment tympani, and it separates it to the middle cranial fossa. When through the mastoiditis, infection can invade to the middle cranial fossa and forms the meningitis and encephalitis. So the superior wall that is forming of the mastoid antrum forms the tegment tympani, and the anterior wall enters formed by the tympanic cavity and connected by the adductus with the जो है mastoid antrum. And posterior wall, the posterior sigmoid sinus is present, and the medial wall is connected with the posterior semicircular canal, and the lateral wall is forms the जो है आपका floor of the suprameatal triangle, and inferior wall forms the air-filled cavities into the mastoid antrum. So whenever the infection enters through the nasopharynx, through the pharyngotympanic tube into the middle ear cavity, is called the acute जो है जो infection of the middle ear cavity, repeated infection of the middle ear cavity that can transmit into the middle cranial fossa through the superior wall, and posterior wall, it invades the mastoid mastoid antrum or acute mastoiditis, okay, and it also invades the sigmoid sinus thrombosis, and it hits the inferior wall acute mastoiditis, superior wall जो है आपका acute meningitis and encephalitis. So this is how the infection transmits from the one area to the other area. ठीक है, so this is the posterior wall, this is the mastoid antrum, this is the lateral wall which is covered by the tympanic membrane, ठीक है, and this is the anterior wall, this is the thin bone, which this is the carotid canal. Through the thin bone it separates, this is the anterior wall which separates the middle ear cavity from the carotid canal, and this carotid canal contains the internal carotid artery. So this thin bone separates the middle ear cavity from the carotid canal. Okay, otherwise the infection goes towards the or ruptures the internal carotid artery as well. So this is a tensor tympani muscle which is actually inserts over the handle of the malleus. Okay, and this is the posterior wall and mastoid antrum, and this is the inferior wall. This is a thin bone which separates us from the superior bulb of the internal jugular vein, and this is the tegment tympani. Okay, beta. This is posterior wall, superior wall, inferior wall, and this is the anterior wall. This is the opening for the pharyngotympanic tube. This is a thin bone which separates the tympanic cavity from the जो है आपका carotid canal. ठीक है, so and this is the canal for the pharyngotympanic tube, this is canal for the tensor tympani muscle. ठीक है, so this tympanic membrane is forming the anterior wall. अच्छा, ये देखें, this is the posterior wall and ये chorda tympani. The chorda tympani when it is branch of the facial nerve, and it releases when it passes through the nearby, it passes through the stylomastoid foramen. So when it passes through the posterior surface of the tympanic membrane over the handle of the malleus, and then it passes through the जो है आपका it contains the preganglionic parasympathetic fibers, and it also contains the taste fibers, and then it जो है preganglionic parasympathetic fibers जो हैं वो submandibular ganglion पर relay करेंगे, then after that the postganglionic fiber supplies the submandibular gland and the lingual gland. ठीक है बेटा, so this is chorda tympani. Over the posterior wall of the tympanic membrane and over the handle of the malleus, it passes over and ends at the level of the submandibular gland. So this is again the chorda tympani, passes over the posterior part of the tympanic membrane and over the handle of the malleus, and this is the canal for the tensor tympani. This is the pharyngotympanic tube. This is a spawn bone separates the tympanic cavity from the carotid canal or internal carotid artery. Okay, this is the mastoid antrum. This is facial canal for the facial nerve, which is coming from the medial wall, and then through the posterior wall it passes down and passes through the stylomastoid foramen in the base of the skull. Okay, and this is the lateral wall which is formed by the tympanic membrane, and this is the handle of the malleus. This is the long process of the incus where the stapes is attached. This is the tendon which is attached over the handle of the malleus, tensor tympani. ठीक है बेटा, so this is the anterior process of the handle of the malleus which is attached with the ligament to the anterior wall of the tympanic cavity. And this is the short process of the incus which is attached by a ligament to the posterior wall of the tympanic cavity, and these are the ligaments which attach the head and the body of the incus to the superior wall, meaning roof of the tympanic cavity. Up to the tympanic membrane, here up to the here, it is called tympanic cavity. The area which is above the tympanic membrane is called epitympanic recess, where the handle of the malleus and the body of the incus is present. ठीक है, अच्छा, एक और चीज, whenever the vibration strikes over the tympanic membrane, ठीक है, it जो है the tympanic membrane will move medially, and the handle of the malleus is also moved medially, and the head of the malleus and the incus they move laterally, and the जो आपका long process है and the stapes है they move medially. So this is how they move in anterior posterior direction, and they transmit the sound waves from the middle ear to the inner ear. ठीक है. But when the this condition is opposite, when the tympanic membrane moves laterally and the handle of the moves malleus become move laterally, and what happened when they both moves laterally, the separation of the handle of the head of the malleus is occur from the incus, and this is a transient separation, and then the जो आपका long process and the जो stapes है they also moves laterally. So this is how the vibrations will not transmit to the parallel, and when they move medially, tympanic membrane and the long process of the handle of the malleus they move medially, that this head of the malleus and the body of the incus moves laterally, and then the long process and the stapes moves medially. So then the vibration transmits from the tympanic membrane, then to the malleus, then to the incus, and to the stapes, then to the parallel. So this is how the transmission of the sound waves occur. So what is the tympanic plexus? Is a plexus on the promontory of the labyrinthine wall, pastern of the cochlea. That's why the medial wall is called labyrinthine wall, because it contains the promontory or the first turn of the cochlea or of the tympanic cavity. This is formed by the tympanic branch of the glossopharyngeal nerve, and anastomotic branches of the facial nerve, and sympathetic branches of the internal carotid plexus. These branches are also called caroticotympanic nerves. These arise from the internal carotid nerve, which is runs with the internal carotid artery and forms a plexus around the internal carotid artery. So it supplies the mucus of the middle ear, mastoid cells, auditory, estrogen or pharyngotympanic tube. It gives the lesser petrosal nerve, as all I already described. The tympanic branch will give the lesser petrosal nerve. Lesser petrosal nerve will contain the preganglionic parasympathetic fibers released over the otic ganglion in the infratemporal fossa, and these secretomotor fibers, postganglionic secretomotor fibers, goes towards the parotid gland and causes the parotid secretion. So this is about the tympanic plexus. What is Jacobson nerve? There is the tympanic branch of the glossopharyngeal nerve, which actually enters through the floor from the floor of the tympanic cavity and enters into over the medial wall and arises from the inferior ganglion of the glossopharyngeal nerve. It carries the preganglionic parasympathetic fibers from the inferior salivatory nucleus, which eventually end at the otic ganglion, and after ending into the otic ganglion they distribute towards the parotid gland. ठीक है. Jacobson nerve enters the tympanic cavity via the inferior tympanic canaliculus and contributes to the tympanic plexus, which is over the promontory or the medial wall or labyrinthine wall of the tympanic membrane located on the cochlear promontory. Parasympathetic fibers leave the plexus as a lesser petrosal nerve. So this is all I already explained. So these preganglionic parasympathetic fibers, when go towards the otic ganglion in the infratemporal fossa, they become postganglionic after relaying into the otic ganglion, and then जो है this lesser petrosal nerve जो है causes the this contains the secretomotor fibers, and which causes the secretion of the parotid gland. This is all about the. Thank you so much.